evening and welcome to Up South. This is the show that gets you all the top stories from South India that matter to you, the viewer. I am T.S. Sudhir. Yesterday we had brought you images of Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jaylalithha campaigning for herself in the R.K. Nagar Assembly constituency of Chennai. Today, the Karnataka government moved the Supreme Court challenging her acquittal by the Karnataka High Court on the 11th of May.
24 hours ago, an energized Tamil Nadu Chief Minister was out campaigning for the by-polls. Her first big political move since the big acquittal. But on Tuesday, the bomb dropped, with the Karnataka government finally moving Supreme Court challenging her acquittal as farce and illegal.
The trouble for Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jaylalithas seems to be brewing up, as the Karnataka government has now moved the apex court against the High Court order. In its challenge, in its appeal, the Karnataka government has said that the High Court order was not only a miscalculation but a sort of a fraud in its own way. The definition of what is a disproportionate asset was in fact a point of challenge in this entire appeal. As the case goes forward at the apex court, this 2 decades old case filed by friend-turned-foe Subramanian Swamy continues to haunt the top politician from Tamil Nadu.
The Karnataka High Court had allowed Jaylalithas appeal challenging the 27 September 2014 order of a trial court in Bengaluru, convicting her and sentencing her to 4 years imprisonment and imposing a hefty fine of 100 crores. Shortly after her acquittal, amidst record-breaking opulence and ritual, Jaylalithha was sworn in as Tamil Nadu Chief Minister last month for a record 5th term. Now the opposition DMK has already filed a special leave petition before the Supreme Court against the High Court's verdict in the assets.
He said that there was no delay in filing the petition. He said that they were rather confident that they would bring a stay to the High Court order. Either way, whatever the decision of the Supreme Court may be, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jaylalitha will be definitely utilizing this as a sympathy factor in the coming elections. With Anusha Soni in Delhi, Rohini Swamy in Bengaluru for India Today.
Rohini Swamy joins me live from outside the Karnataka High Court. Rohini, B.V. Acharya, who was the special public prosecutor in the High Court and will also represent the state government in the pointed to several mathematical errors. Is that going to be the crux of the entire legal argument in the apex court?
Absolutely, that's going to be one of the main arguments in the court, and what they have been saying is the calculations that have been made are completely miscalculated, and very clearly saying that the disproportionate assets is not around 8% as that has been shown in the High Court order, but rather 76%. And what they have very clearly said in the special leave petition that I hold in my hand is that it is based on the same calculations that have been made, which they have shown in the High Court order. Only going up to say that they feel that they're confident enough to say that they think that they can bring a stay to the High Court order. They also feel that they have a watertight case itself, and the fact that the acquittal of Jayalalitha was completely it was unwarranted for, and what they feel in that their arguments are going to be very straight and said that the High Court judgment was completely flawed.
Right. Rohini Swamy, thanks a lot for joining us there from outside the Karnataka High Court in Bengaluru. Now, trouble also there for another resident of the Poise Garden area of Chennai, superstar Rajinikanths. The Madras High Court has issued a notice to him in a case which involves the father of his son-in-law, actor Dhanush. In fact, on the petition moved by a Chennai-based film financier, the financier had actually claimed that he had lent 65 lakh rupees to Kasturi Raja, who is also a producer.
Yes, of course, actually. I'm disappointed most because when Rajini is a famous person across India, when people use his name and damage his name, as a fan, I'm getting so much of hurted when his name is get damaged.
Right. So, what do you think? I mean, do you also see, share a similar sentiment?
Basically, once any famous thing, if you touch that particular famous thing, obviously the person who touched the famous thing, they can also become touched. So normally people try to destroy his fakeness most of the time. He has been touched the particular fame all over the more years. But what we as a fan, what we feel is whatever, even 1,000 persons they may come, but the fame cannot be touched. The fame cannot be destroyed.
That's Rajinikanths. So what is Rajinikanths to you? Because his name has been dragged in such controversy. So what do you think about it?
See, I should say we don't have fans only in India. All over the world we have. and like this is actually atrocious. And we can't take it up just like that, you know, like, because it's not that easy to bring up the name in this kind of industry. It's hard work what you have done. And like people like this, people like in misusing his name is like unbearable.
Right. So this is the sentiment that people in Chennai, share, Sudhir, because of course they are hurt that Rajini's name has been misused not just once, but a lot of times just because he is famous and he is a brand name himself.
Right, absolutely. Pretty unanimous in what they think about Rajinikanth's name being dragged into this needless controversy. Shisha Reddy, thanks a lot for joining us there from Chennai. Now, staying with news from Tamil Nadu, and we would like to tell our viewers that the next story could actually disturb you, and we would advise viewer discretion. Cattle trafficking trucks carrying 147 cows, buffaloes and bulls were rescued in Tamil Nadu's Pudukkottai district. 7 pregnant cows were found dead and a buffalo with a noose around its neck died of strangulation. The cattle were being illegally transported from different parts of Tamil Nadu to Kerala. Seized trucks were taken to the Sulur police station where a case was registered against the drivers for cruelty to the animals. Animal rights activists say that the pregnant cows are increasingly being trafficked and that they die during transportation. What's more shocking, according to the activists, is that they tie up the animals through their nose directly to the body of the truck so that they cannot sit down. That's what you can see in those absolutely shocking pictures. Joining me now from Chennai is S. Muralidharan of an NGO called the Indian Center for Animal Rights and Education. In fact, this is the NGO which helped rescue this cattle. Mr. Muralidharan, first, congratulations on the effort. The pictures are indeed extremely shocking. But would you say that this is just one of the many instances where you have managed to catch the traffickers and this kind of cruelty perhaps happen all the time?
Yeah, it happens almost every day. I mean, what we caught is just 5 trucks. I'm sure there's something close to at least 200, 300 trucks go in a day to Kerala. And the cruelty is like, I mean, you've got to see it to believe it. That's the kind of torture these animals go through. One of the trucks is a container. Now, it's a metal container. It's tough metal and there's no absolute ventilation inside, and it will be very hot. And one of the buffaloes died of suffocation.
Right. Mr. Muralidharan, for the benefit of our viewers, if you could explain what state did you find all those animals in?
The animals are normally famished, dehydrated, because the journey from Maharashtra to Kerala could be anything between 20 to 25 hours. So, and during this journey, they are not fed with water or any kind of food. So obviously they are all dehydrated. The weaker ones are made to stand. What they do is they tie up their horns and nose strings to the top of the roof of the truck, making them stand. And there's very limited possibility of them to lie down at all. So because the reason is they could get trampled once they start sitting on the truck. So, but still some of them, they fall off and they'll be hanging on nose strings. That's the saddest thing.
Right. I find it pretty shocking, Mr. Muralidharan, that they travel such a long distance and they aren't really stopped at any of the toll gates or any of the places where they're actually stopped and checked. Whose table does the buck really stop? Who is really to blame for something like this?
Human greed, I would say. I mean, I think India has, it's come to a level that, we would do anything for money. And this is sheer greed. I mean, you look at the cow and the bull. The cow gives its entire life for the human race, by giving milk. And for a motherless child, it's like almost like a mother. And the bull is like in a very gruesome manner, it's been castrated. And it's been used in the fields throughout his life. And end of the day, what we demand is a dignified death. What you are doing is pure torture. Why can't you butcher them wherever you have to and wherever you catch them? Then you transport the meat in a refrigerator. I mean, what you're trying to do, it's like, this is inhuman, barbaric, and there's no words for this.
Absolutely shocking there, Mr. Muralidharan. We wish you luck in your endeavors. We hope you're able to rescue more such animals. As you said, many more trucks actually travel all the way from Tamil Nadu and different parts of India into Kerala and perhaps many other states. Thank you very much for joining us there on Up South. News now from Hyderabad. Now, shouldn't the district administration sit up and take notice when over 80% of students in a class actually decide to drop out? And they decide to drop out because of the absolutely unhygienic conditions that these students are forced to study in. This report from a government school in the Film Nagar, a very posh locality of Hyderabad.
This was a class of 37 students till class 4. But this academic year in class 5, 32 students have dropped out of this government primary school in Film Nagar, one of the most posh localities in Hyderabad. The reason is this drainage water that is forever around this 11-year-old school and emanates a bad smell. During the monsoon, the school gets flooded and students cannot enter the school.
Continuously if rain comes means they are unable to sit in the classrooms and they are unable to come into the school only. So this problem is since 4 years, and before that also it was there.
This is the dirt through which students have to pass to go to relieve themselves. And the contaminated groundwater finds its way into the sump. And the students have to drink this water. We showed the video of the school to Telangana Deputy Chief Minister Mahmood Ali, who has promised to address the problem.
6 महीने में काफी काम हुआ है. जो आप स्कूल के बारे में बताएं, डेफिनेटली मैं अभी सब लेटर लिखूंगा और उसको हम बहुत जल्द से जल्द उसको जो भी अगर उसमें जरूरत है तामीर की या सफाई की 100% करेंगे. हम यही चाहते हैं कि हमारे स्कूल्स में ज्यादा से ज्यादा बच्चे पढ़े.
In Hyderabad with T.S. Sudhir, Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. You're with Up South. Now, India's garden city, Bengaluru, has now got a couple of swanky brand new footpaths, and that has delighted Bengalurians no end, who usually crib about not having sufficient space to walk in. Rohini Swami decided to take a walk and also talk.
Bangalore has its traffic problems, but also we have seen that footpaths in Bangalore have been almost nil. We've also seen how cases of people actually falling on the streets and hurting themselves, getting injured, especially senior citizens because of lack of footpaths. This project that you see is a project where looking at widening footpaths, but we are also looking at how possibly has it narrowed down roads. Here I'm talking to Mr. Satish. Sir, you're a Bangalorean, and you have seen Bangalore develop. This road, St. Mark's Road here, the road used to be clogged with school buses and everything. Do you think this is a good footpath area?
Very good footpath area, because we've been using this place to walk around for so many years.
But has the road become much narrow?
It's an illusion. It's an illusion that the road has become narrow.
Why do you say it's an illusion, sir?
Because if you check on the tree line, you know, the road was haphazard. There was no proper embankment of the road. There were no what you call footpath organized, no drainage, nothing was there. It's only that has got streamlined, so you feel people have the illusion that the road is narrow.
But it's a pleasure walking down.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure. It's a flat surface. We need not worry about ditches and dumps which are and it's a free walk. It's a leisurely walk.
Good point, mate. It's a leisurely walk, free walk, which is something you don't see much in Bangalore. But what we also are going to be talking to are people who are there with their vehicles and be driving around. When I saw you, you just stopped the car and you said that the roads are smaller, the footpaths are bigger. What do you have to say about such kind of things? Because this is a pilot project to make footpaths larger for people to walk.
You will only get traffic over here. The footpath is so big and road are so small.
So don't you think this is not... So do you think that the fact that the whole... It's a waste of money.
It's a waste of money. We can't drive the car on footpath. We have to drive on the road.
As you can see, the fact that the point that you're making is that the roads have gone narrow. Yes, the footpaths have been there. Senior citizens are pretty happy with it, saying it's a leisurely walk. But the point is that possibly the project went wrong in terms of the calculation of the ratio of the road to the footpath, and maybe that should be corrected, is what they're saying. With Cameron Madhu, Rohini Swami in Bangalore for India Today.